Hey team, welcome to the math video series. Unfortunately, I'm not saying that this is number 4, I'm saying this is 2.5. I realized as people were giving an assessment today, there were a couple quick things that weren't clear. In this video, I'm going to talk to you about what force finish is, what reopen is on Elluminate, and what your screen should look like when you're giving your assessment to your kiddos. In the background, Laura's currently teaching her PE class or fitness class in the other room, so please forgive if there's like a lot of ambient noise. And Fenway is doing this weird thing where he is like scratching his paws all over the ground over and over again. So welcome to my home, and let's jump right in. So I am a teacher that is giving an Elluminate assessment. After I've gone through the PowerPoint with my kiddos and said like, this is the PowerPoint, if you remember. Now, sorry, there's 2 on the ground. Once I've gone through this PowerPoint and said, great, everyone go ahead and get started on your quiz, get ready, go. I stopped sharing my PowerPoint and I'm actually going to shift to the Hapara dashboard. I have a lot of Hapara dashboards, and right now I know that Morehouse is doing something that's not an Elluminate quiz, so this is going to feel a little funky. As I am scrolling through the screens of my students, I have 2 additional screens up in the background from Chrome. The first is I have the Hapara screen and I have it fitted, I need to do this larger first. I have it fitted to highlights. And I'm going to toggle between browser tabs and current screen. Those are the 2 things that's going to allow me to see what the child's looking at. Because being able to see the Elluminate tab up isn't super helpful. The browser tabs and the current screen are the 2 that I'm going to stick with. I'll stay on browser tabs right now just for our timing. And it's going to take a second for it to load up. The second thing I have up is I have up Elluminate. And I want to show you the 2 things you should be looking at in Elluminate. As kids log in, and unfortunately I am not a Hartford teacher. There we go. As I'm watching kids logging into, and it'll say Elluminate test, and it actually will say question 1, question 2, question 3 as you go through it. I'm also going to have up the assessment. And so this struck me in the moment, and so I'm pulling this up as fast as I can to just provide you guys this context. But practice, elementary school practice. And okay, so when kids start logging in, you want to go to administration, online testing. I still have Hapara up where I'm monitoring if kids are on the right screen, if they're doing anything funky, etc. I'm allowed to, like, I can switch to current tabs or to current screens to actually see what they're doing. This is really cool. You can see that they're actually typing right now, but you would see the Elluminate screen. Over here, once I go to online testing and kids have begun entering in to online testing, I'm actually going to click in to watch what's happening. There's 3 things here that are incredibly cool that you can use: live proctoring, students, and aggregated view. I'm going to start by showing you what live proctoring looks like. And unfortunately, we don't have anyone in it live right now, but I want to show you what it can look like. Live proctoring legitimately shows me what is happening live with kids. You may not ever project this for a child to see because you can see right now that the answers come in and they show up as correct or incorrect. So right now in 3rd grade, 93% of kids knew that the blue whale was the largest, 100% of kids I think knew that 2 + 2 is 4, and 97% of kids knew that a stop sign was red. Or maybe Marjorie didn't. I don't know. I can't remember which the sequence was, and kids could have clicked on something funky. So this is the first cool view. I keep this up as kids are going in because it allows me to say, awesome, Ashley, I see that you just finished number 1, you're on number 2, you're on number 3, you're on number 4. And over here, I can also see, like, great, Ashley, I can also see that you're there. The other view that I use really frequently as a teacher and now as a leader, oh, so big, is I go to not live proctoring, but students. When I go into students, it allows me to see if a child has finished their test. So if Ashley says, I'm done, I'll be like, great, Ashley, did you click finish? And if she says, yes, Miss Ewing, I clicked finish, I'll be like, high five, let me check really quickly. It says finished. Sometimes it won't. Like you can see right here that Matthew did not click finish on his assessment. And so what I can do is if Matthew said, I finished, and then he logs off Zoom and I don't have access to his data, I'm going to go over to this button that shows actions. I'm going to click force finish. You can also enable text to speech. I can reset his password. I can pause. Don't do those things. Pausing is weird and doesn't need to happen. I can click force finish on Matthew's test. Now, you might be saying to yourself, awesome, Sarah. Now I know how to set up my screen. I toggle between the two, live proctoring and this page, the student assessment page, while I have Hapara up next to me, just so I can keep an eye on things, because I can't always tell what the browser tabs are that they're in, and it's helpful for me to know. The second thing I'm doing is I'm also monitoring for when kids by accidentally click finish. So a kid that might get upset, etc., clicks finish and they're not actually done. You probably were like, oh, let me call Ada, let me call Ewing. Those are people I've called in the past to help you reopen a test. Nope, don't do that anymore. Instead, if Ashley clicked finish and she didn't mean to, you can go to actions and click reopen. This button needs to pop up, student administration successfully reopened, okay, and you say, Ashley, reload your page. You now have access to your test again. I'm gonna force finish Ashley's test because she already finished it. Wait till this thing pops up. So now you know how to set up your screen as an adult for monitoring. I really do leave up both panels and then I keep Zoom floating around. If I had a co-teacher, I would have the co-teacher looking at Zoom while I was monitoring these two pages. But I find that that live proctoring feature is incredibly cool. And I'm always checking the finished component to a test. This is generally what my background looks like as a teacher in remote learning, which is, you know, it kind of works for me. Great, so you know how to set up your screen, you know how to force finish, and you know how to reopen. You have to click force finish in order for you to be able to grade an assignment. There will be no data and you will not be able to access anything unless you're clicking force finish or unless you have ensured that a child has actually clicked finish on their end. Many times in school, we've said, great, your test is over, click finish. And then we actually didn't see them entirely click finish. And because of that, you actually don't have access to the data. You have to go all the way back through manually clicking force finish. You want to know that a child has clicked that blue button. Internet can go awry. And if that's the case, you have the option of force finishing on your end. So this is the addendum to part 2. So we'll call this 2.5 on YouTube. Swipe up, be my 10th subscriber. Thanks, guys, and stop in the